Good afternoon. So glad that you can join us. We are talking about procrastination and overwhelm. Not like any of you have ever been there. When you are working in any business, maybe even just life, it can get pretty overwhelming. We do have endless tasks to do. More towards the end, we are going to talk about some really good tips on how to manage it when you're doing your cooking classes. Like, how do you get your schedule to work? How do you get it to work and to get it all done? One of the things that I see happen all the time, and myself included, is when you have too long of a list or you have too much clutter around you, you may tend to procrastinate. And really, what is procrastination? It is just a form of avoidance. So it's best to just break it down. Are the tasks and attack one at a time. I think it's best for everyone to start the new year out clean. So I always empty out my desk drawers and clear off my desk and make piles. You kind of can see where you're overwhelmed if you put the piles. So there's a pile of papers and ideas and you name it, binders. Then there's the cooking class pile. I work in another business, so that business has its own pile. And then you may have some personal things. But once you make your piles, and my floor was a mess, and once you have those piles, then you can really weed through. You don't need every binder of notes you've ever taken on any course. Maybe rip out the highlights or write down the important notes into a new binder. Just try to keep it as simple and clean as possible. What causes the overwhelm is when you have task saturation. Another great thing you can use is Pomodoro. I have it on my iPad. I put it up on my desk. It counts down. So your brain is designed to get things done in like 25 minutes is your peak efficient time. So you work for like 25 minutes and that works really well because then you know this is what I'm working on. It's not good to multitask. Don't look at your desk and be like, I've got to do all these things. You're not going to get anywhere. It's like moving 500 snowballs down the mountain. They're not going to get very big. If you work on one task and you are stick to it until it's done. If your 25 minutes are up, you get a 5-minute break. If you need to take that break, get up and do something, move around, do something. But if you aren't done with it and you really are on a roll, like keep going, skip the 5-minute break or come right back. Know that's the task you got to finish. So you can really get a lot of things done. I'm sure you know about big rocks. If you have a vase and you have to put sand, pebbles, and rocks, and you don't put them in the right order, if you put the sand in first and then the pebbles, the rocks aren't going to fit. You've got to put your big rocks in. So have 3 big things a day max that you are working on that you need to get achieved. Your 3 big rocks, you can pour the pebbles in, all like the things that you really got to get done, but they're not like moving the needle forward like the big rocks. And then the sand, you pour the sand in, it'll fill in. Those are just like your middle. You have millions of little things you got to do in a day. You know, even you got to eat, you got to like maybe go to the bathroom, stretch break. There's lots of things you got to do. So those are your sand, okay? You may be thinking about, I got to make dinner. Don't stop what you're doing. Have a piece of paper next to you. Always. I have one piece of paper. It's not my to-do list. It's like, I get an idea. I don't want to lose it. I write it down on that piece of paper. So that piece of paper I'll come back to later, and then that paper will get added into tomorrow or into a big rock if it is a big rock, but I won't forget about it. It just keeps things moving through you so you don't get stuck. Keep your things clutter-free as best you can. Work on your big rocks and know what your end goal is. And don't forget self-care. Think of things that have one thing a day that you're really like, if it's taking a walk in nature, if it's going to Pilates, yoga, if it's just going to hug your grandkids, I don't know, whatever it is, but take the time to just enjoy your life. And I will see you next week.